Do you have a gardening bucket list? The plants you want to grow, the gardens you want to see? Well, I do. And at the top of the list for many years has been the Royal Botanic Garden, Kew. Join me today as I explore Kew Gardens and check off an item on my gardening bucket list. Hi, I'm Gardener Scott. And when you see an image of Kew Garden, typically it's the Palm House, which is behind me. And that's where I'm going to begin. There are beautiful gardens outside the Palm House. And of course, this structure that is incredible. Walking through the doors, you're immersed with growth. The tall trees reaching up to the glass. A mist periodically rains down to maintain the humidity and water these plants. There's winding stairs to the top. Let's check it out. As we climb higher, the temperature rises. The sign said we can expect 35 degrees Celsius at the top. It's definitely hot up here, but it gives us a bird's eye view of these amazing trees. One could probably spend an entire day at the Palm House, just doing some research, looking at all the different types of trees they have, learning more about how they maintain this greenhouse and the renovation that's going on right now. But for me, I have the whole day, and there's a lot more I want to see. I have no doubt I'm not going to be able to see it all, but let's try. On the back side of the Palm House are the rose gardens. With wide green paths in between and wondrous mounds. Some of the roses are in bloom, and some of the roses are just beginning to bud. Because I'm here all day, I'm not in a hurry, and I don't have an agenda. I'm just wandering. You never know what you'll discover and what you'll see when you just allow yourself to soak up the space and look around and take your time. I love garden art in my garden and many others. This is quite unique. This is a digital artwork called Of the Oak. Let's just sit and enjoy it for a bit. This is so soothing to sit here, listen to the music, watch the image. The artist is showing the life that an oak tree can provide, above ground and below ground. It's 12 minutes long. It's easy to get carried away. After watching that digital art, I want to come underneath the trees and just soak in their energy. Listen to the birds. Think about how long they've been here, in this garden. Think about how far their roots extend, how the roots are talking to each other. I can definitely feel the energy of this garden. As I walk through Kew Garden, I'm realizing that it's not like many of the other botanic gardens that I've been in, with individual displays of flowers and plants. This is more about the space, the largest collection of plants and fungi in a real life setting. It's like a park, but it's a park that's set up for not just gardeners, though we certainly like it, but everyone. I love sitting areas in the garden, so in this quiet spot surrounded by trees, I'm going to find a seat and sit down. I love sitting. Makes it easier to walk longer distances, relax my muscles, soak in this great London sun, and just look at all the colors and the textures. Listen to the birds. This is what having a garden is all about. I think every garden should have a water feature, and this is a water feature on a massive scale. And so just sitting and becoming part of nature, the nature ends up coming close. Let's walk to the middle of the water. We can survey both sides. Little island in the middle, some ducks. This is so awesome. And we can look to the other side. Ooh, look at that. How beautiful is this? To see this ancient tree blanketed by the beautiful lilac color of the plants surrounding it. Getting a little hungry. Let's have lunch. You might have seen on the sign that the cafe is 800 meters away. Yes, that's almost half a mile. That's how expansive the gardens at Kew are. But that's okay, because I'll just do some more wandering, see the plants and the flowers, and about the time I'm probably getting tired enough and hungry enough, I'll be at the cafe. This is a weeping beech tree. And it certainly is weeping. So it makes my heart glad to see something like this that I've never seen before. One of the nice things about a massive garden like this is that all the trees have a tag, so you can tell what they are. I decided to eat at the orangery, so I'm going to stay inside out of the sun, rest my feet, and energize for the afternoon of walking. After lunch, I headed to Kew Palace. And while you can tour the palace, I'm actually going around to the side to see the Queen's Garden behind it. Walking past these yew hedges, we enter a lovely space, a sculpted garden designed to walk through, and yet another contemplative location at Kew. Never have too many water features in a garden. Heading the other way from the orangery, we have the great broad walk. A wide path with colorful cultivars along the edges, and then of course the sculpted trees along the way. London is becoming hotter and drier, so here's an example of water-wise gardening. And this looks a lot like my garden. I have many of these plants because I've chosen them for the same reason. They can handle heat and dry conditions. And of course, there are the benches to sit on. I just enjoy watching the people walk by, nestled amongst nature. A wide diversity of plants brings in a wide diversity of pollinators. Let's take a look at the water lily house. These look like sculpted hollies. Amongst these beautiful Mediterranean plants, you suddenly come across a temple. The temperate house was closed for me today, but there's another potential location to explore when it's open. I came to Kew with no preconceived notions. I just wanted to see it. And after completing a very broad circle through Kew, I'm ending here at a beautiful pond right in front of where I started at the Palm House. This is an amazing space. It's unlike any city botanic garden that I've ever been to. It's more than just demonstration gardens. It's a place to contemplate and relax and enjoy. And it's something that I highly recommend. I'm Gardener Scott. Enjoy gardening.